Hello, we're all here. Hi.
Hello.
So another week, another podcast. Got stuff going on, some Cinemacon, some gaming stuff. But before we get to that, we have each other's weeks. So, Mike.
Um, week's been kind of just business as usual, but for the animation podcast, Cameron and I talked about a new Adult Swim series called Common Side Effects, which is honestly the best thing that I've seen all year. Anyone who's not watching, you should watch it immediately.
Comments? Alrighty then, nice. Breathe.
I have my puppy. It's been a tiring couple of days. Much of it, she's good. Her name is Elfie, and she's an adorable little bean. She's a little spicy sometimes, but she's just working through it.
It's their job. Puppies aren't spicy, they aren't doing it correctly. Fiona.
It's been kind of business as usual for me too. Same old this week. Nothing really happened, I don't think. Sunday was a bit of a hard day mentally speaking, but other than that, yeah, going with the flow, man.
Gotcha. Not a whole lot going on with me. Didn't work this weekend, so I got extra sleep in, so that was nice. Been playing an ass load more Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm just shy of like 45 hours into it now. And I kind of said before that I felt like they chopped one whole character and then separated them, but what they did is what some RPGs of this element do, where they make a god tier character and then pick them apart bit by bit and then put all the skills into random things. So, but by the time you've got all those together, you've got that god tier character. I've now gotten that with Naue to where, like, the biggest thing that people don't like about it, these RPG ones, this is my first time playing one of the RPG ones, so I understand it. And the other ones, when you assassinated someone, they just died. Like, you got the assassin and they died. This one, it has health chunks. Now I've gotten to a certain level to where I get anywhere from 8 to 12 chunks taken off of a person, depending on what the situation is behind the assassination. And the most I've seen on a person is 9. So as long as I'm on the ground and rushing towards them with the Kasuragami, they're dead. So I have a guaranteed way to kill basically anyone in the game as long as I'm the same level as them. It turns now into the most best feeling Assassin's Creed character, almost, because she's the most that it feels like you're really in the dark killing people. Because she has multiple skills where you get double assassinations. If you assassinate someone, she recovers, throws a kunai at the closest target, nails them in the head, kills them. It's just a bunch of really well strung together skills that, as long as you can run and gun through an entire fortress in 10 minutes and just clear everyone, because then you also have these allies that you can recruit, and they're overpowered as fuck. Because if you're not paying attention, there's one called Ganojo, where you'll just be walking and notice someone, a fucking smoke bomb will hit out of nowhere, because it's a passive skill. He doesn't have to be there. It'll just hit, boom! And the person who noticed me, before the status element triggers that I can see they noticed me, he notices they noticed me. That bomb hits, they become stunned, and I can assassinate them. So it's a free anti-fuck up that recharges every 5 minutes. And then there's another one. It's this poison girl that you get with this chain of taking out these like pirates that are smuggling stuff from these villagers, to where she has a thing that's a poisonous dart. You can hit a person and they fall down. But you can upgrade her to where she hits a person, and then you basically Batman Arkham them to where she'll sit there, but she's just spewing out poisonous gas. So when someone comes up to them, they go, "Oh no, that's," and then another person will go, "Oh no, that's," And then there's like 5 people there, because if they're within a close enough proximity, they don't see the smoke. They just see a dead enemy, and they have to be within 2 feet of it to realize what's wrong. So your allies are overpowered as fuck. It's really fun. I will say that I believe the game has 3 acts. The first main act until you get like past the 2 Shamukfu, which are the group of like 9 assassins that killed Naoe's dad. Once you kill like 2 of them, the entire world opens up to do whatever you want. And I've hit no less than 8 different civilians that have had a problem, that have opened up another barrel skill tree in my like event board that has 9 assassination targets on it. So you kind of just can kill 1,000 people before you take out 9 of these things that killed your dad, and the story doesn't notice whatsoever. You could take out like the entire east end of Japan, and it's nothing that's been affected. It's kind of nuts. It's a lot of fun, but yeah,
That's pretty great.
It's great, and it's the most actually like looking into assassins as the RPG ones, because from what I understand from the other ones, you're called the hidden ones or something else. Like this one, you actually are getting animus picks from a guy that left Spain to go recruit for the assassins in Japan, and you actually find information about it. So this is like the closest they've come to doing the full swing in the RPGs to where they started out for where the assassins started. So it's a ton of fun. I highly, highly recommend it. It's different enough to where I will say the side missions are very much just Ghost of Tsushima light, but the gameplay feels different enough to where it's there. But the thing that I'm looking forward to with Ghost of Yote compared to this, because like with Jin, you had a sword, and your duels with that sword were some of the most heart-pounding, just exciting shit ever, because you had to legitimately outthink the computer. Here it's you have like 4 different weapons, and you could just beat the fuck out of the opponent and don't have to think that much. So you have more options, but when you're limited to one, you get more out of that one. It's kind of the same reason why I like Nero and Devil May Cry. You could do a million things with this one weapon compared to doing 100 things with each, whatever. But anyways, I could go on about the weapon specifics in that for a while, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is really fun. Don't listen to stupid people. Go play it. Because also, any problem, it's funnily enough, it's shut down super fast in the most effective way possible. Anyone that had a problem with them making a giant deal out of Yasuke for being this well-known person, he's not. And you find that out within the first 5 minutes of the game.
Wow.
Yasuke's not in their version of it. Yasuke's not even his original name. He's just some slave brought over by the Portuguese that Nobunaga takes interest in because he's a big dude. And then Yasuke chooses the name because some Japanese kid said he missed a relative of his that was brave, and he wanted to be brave like this kid's relative when he chose a new name. Like, nobody knows who Yasuke is at all. So how about we play the game before we get pissy at people like Grubs, who now, if you want to go have fun, you can look at a literal timeline of how big of a piece of shit he is. If I remember, I'll link the document, because oh boy, it's 1 billion times worse than what I thought. Good Lord.
Not surprised.
Oh,
Not at all.
oh, it's bad. Woo! Anyway,
Did you see what he said about like now I'm forced to destroy the left's ideology?
yeah, that
Like,
coming from the guy that
bro.
used to monitor porn groups and swindled money from people to make his game that he hasn't done a damn thing with.
Not surprised.
Yeah, Grums, yeah, you're doing a whole lot of good.
Mhm.
You go, buddy.
Keeping a force for good in the world.
When you look like a piece of shit nowadays comparative to Asmongold, you're not doing good.
No.
Especially, did you see that Asmund Gold bullshit with the AI?
With
I saw that. It's
the
why
AI.
why
I
just
might
why?
know, but I might just be blanking. What did I
Mike,
miss?
do you want to elaborate?
Long story short,
Is it the Ghibli shit?
yep.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Maybe y'all should just be better at your jobs. You know, it's gonna get worse from here. Me, who doesn't even know basic hygiene. Now cockroaches jump on me in the middle of my own fucking stream, and then said as a punishment, I'm going to clean my house. Sir, I didn't know basic hygiene was a punishment. But okay. You know, anyway. We've got topics to talk about that aren't skeezy white men. So
Really?
we've got yeah, just a couple. We've got not many buyers sells here, but we're gonna go through them. All right, Mike, buy or sell that Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to release July 31st, 2026, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. And I knew that title sounded familiar. Brand New Day is a storyline that took place after One More Day.
Yeah.
I buy the movie. I don't love that title for that reason.
Legit, I thought it was a prank when I saw a disgusting film posted it after midnight.
Here's the thing, though.
I think they're being literal with it this time.
Literal, and also in the fact they did technically, in a good way, adapt One More Day in No Way Home.
Sure.
They did
Yeah,
it without him
yeah.
spelling his marriage to Mephisto.
They did the less stupid version of One More Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you now,
But
if
you
what
just
they
can't
did in
put
No
that
Way
baby
Home,
back in the bottle.
if what they did with No Way Home was the original version of that storyline, people would not be as pissed about it.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Because the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why they sold
Yeah.
the marriage is because they're allergic to having Peter Parker be happy. They've actually said that. He's not allowed to be married because he's too
Yep.
relatable then. The core tenet of Spider-Man is the fact that he's relatable. I'm sorry. I've seen people be married and still be miserable. I know that's a thing that you have to think Spider-Man has to be. I don't know.
Media literacy is dead. And here's like the crazy thing, like that's like a prep. God, I can't talk. That's like a prevailing like viewpoint that we can't have flawed characters or whatever or bullshit or be like relatable or have them deal with actual issues because reasons, I guess.
Reasons. Hey, Umbreon, yeah, the reasons are we don't want to try and write a character being happy because we don't think that sells things.
Basically.
Like you
Yeah.
can be happy and still have conflict in your life.
Oh, 100%. If you have a life without conflict, you're dead.
Yep.
Sorry to tell you. That's
Damn.
the only way it's happening. I don't mean to sound facetious or like be really mean, but am I wrong?
Just look up that clip from the movie adaptation.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, all right. Kiona. Buy or sell that the Legend of Zelda live action film premieres March 26, 2027 from Nintendo and Sony Pictures.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I buy it. When is it? March 26, 2027?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening by then. Possibly. What are your guys' opinions on like whether or not Link should speak? I think he absolutely should, because then it wouldn't be much of a movie now, would it?
I don't think it'd be much of, but here's the other thing. I think it'd be interesting if you were able to pull off a movie where it didn't.
I mean, it would be interesting, but we never get a "excuse me, princess" reference, which frankly is worth the price of admission for me.
What I think they'll probably end up doing is maybe doing like a Furiosa thing because like Furiosa like doesn't actually talk all that much.
No. Yeah, you can have it be minimalist.
That's like if they made Shadow of the Colossus movie, which they're still actively trying, and I don't want Wander to speak. He can grunt.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me if he speaks. It just isn't
Yeah,
because like I grew up with the cartoon where he spoke all the time.
That's the only reason why I would be okay if he spoke dialogue, because, like you said, movies are not the games. You have to adapt
you have
the
to.
storytelling.
that is true.
But
Yeah,
at the same time,
I don't need, because he speaks, we're then going to give him cringy new-a-day hero dialogue.
yeah.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, no. I agree there. Please don't.
Also, like, we have had movies in the past where the main protagonist doesn't speak, but there's a cast around him that does.
Yes.
Mhm.
Which I'm not saying I'm against him speaking, but if you make Link, a stoic hero, sound like a fucking idiot because you had to make him speak,
Yeah, please don't.
don't do that.
Don't do that. I'd rather have him not speak in that case.
Yeah,
If
like
they're just gonna write stupid dialogue,
I'm not saying they are, but that is my terrifying fear.
yeah.
Because I don't know how they're like, well, we know exactly how to write him because we have a lot of examples.
Here's a more
That's
recent,
my terrifying fear.
here's a recent example that could work. Sakamoto Days. The main protagonist. It's not that he doesn't speak. He is just a man of few words,
Mhm.
and that's still compelling enough.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
I'm a man of few words. Any questions?
who do you guys, honest to God, not joking, think would be a good casting choice for?
For
Oh,
Link,
God.
ooh,
Because you have to think also, what fucking version of Link are they doing?
Yeah.
that's the other question.
Are they doing
I can't-
classic Link? I have no idea, honestly.
I don't either.
I can't answer casting questions until I get a better idea of the direction of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the old, like the talking is whatever. It's like I need to have minor things where like you're talking references. Like he needs to smash a pot for legitimately no fucking reason. Like there's
And just have it be a royalty-free pot smashing sound
yes,
effect.
it cannot be anything fancy. It needs to be bad. Purposely, it needs to be bad.
Yes.
Or there's going to be some line where he overly says yacht and someone makes a comment. They're like overdoing it just a tad, or like I don't know. There's going to be something.
Yeah.
All right. On to gaming news. A thing that I did not realize happened until I saw it on the Castle Super Beast podcast. The United Video Game Workers Union is now a
Yes.
thing.
Yep.
And it is a cross-Canadian and American company.
Yep.
It was announced at GDC, if I'm not mistaken. Today, in an historic development for video game organization, workers across Canada and the United States are launching a United Video Game Workers CWA Local 9433, a direct joint industry-wide video game union with Communication Workers of America in partnership with the American Federations of Musicians. They will launch a formally announced at the Game Developer Conference in San Francisco, California, the world's largest industry game for video game professionals. They'll be joined by the CBA members to launch this new organization. And builds off unprecedented mobilization following Game Developers Conference of 2018, which served as a launching pad for the creation of the Gamers Workers Unite, international grassroots organization dedicated to labor organization and industry. The launch of the UVW-CWA also coincides with the 5th anniversary of Code CWA, which has helped over 6,500 tech and video game workers organize to join the union since 2020. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this CWA has been, it's so weird for me saying that because my local airport, like an hour from here, is a CWA. I believe they've been doing this for damn near 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that company that they joined up with has been doing this for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good news for the gaming industry, mostly, because we haven't brought
Yeah.
it up a whole lot on here because there haven't been a lot of it recently. Whenever game or anyone in the gaming industry tries to unionize, it normally gets shot down very quickly because it is a small group of people at a single developer that tries to unionize, and or they will, and then the books just randomly look like, well, it looks like we don't need that branch of our studio anymore, and then everyone just gets fired. You can't do that. You've got this overarching thing that's all over, and it's going to be a lot harder to fight because I don't know who's going to be the first one to try and crack open a case against them. Because now you can just have them go in a room of, like, let's say 100 people and go, hey, which one of you was abused? Maybe you worked at Ubisoft. And then when almost the entire room raises their hands, a lot more people are going to start going, and they're going to be like, oh, maybe we actually have to start treating our workers not like indentured servants.
Yeah.
So that makes me very happy, and hopefully they can get wages and shit under control because that has been stupid for a long time. All right. Also, speaking of Ubisoft,
Beautiful segue.
beautiful segue. I didn't realize that was next on the list. When I add this shit, I organize it sometimes, but a lot of times it's just throwing shit in on my phone and doing the best I can. Ubisoft is launching a new subsidiary with Tencent. Here's what it means. Ubisoft is creating a new company that focuses on its major franchises: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and The Division. Tencent is buying 25% of it for 1.6 billion euros. Ubisoft still owns 75% of the new company and seems to retain creative control. The value of this new subsidiary is $4.3 billion and supposedly exceeds the current value of Ubisoft.
That's not surprising.
But this is mainly done as a strategic move to grow the company and compete better with Tencent's massive cash injection. This means Ubisoft is not looking at selling the company as a whole, but instead has partnered with Tencent to stay afloat and to support all their major franchises. Overall, it sounds like a strong change. Hopefully, with Tencent budgets are better in planning, it still looks like this could lead to better with Ubisoft's major IPs. No word of what it means for all the other Ubisoft franchises or the company's roughly 19,000 employees.
Wow.
For those that don't know, a video game company with like 300 is a big deal. And there's a lot of franchises that people don't think of, like Rayman, Just Dance. Oh crap! Now I'm blanking. I have a bunch of them lined up, but there's a bunch of Prince of Persia. There's a bunch of stuff that people don't realize that Ubisoft owns. That it's kind of scary that, like, yeah, we're just gonna take the big ones that are cool and shove them over here. God, it doesn't remind us of another company that just did that with all their gaming franchises. Oh, look, Warner Brothers is right over there. But I mean, if it actually makes them not be shitty and maybe they'll be a little better off. The one nice thing I will say about Tencent is, from what I understand at their companies, they kind of just buy them to make money off of them. They don't meddle a ton. Originally, they bought a bunch of shit in order to hope to get bought. But now it's just, we're going to make money off of you, so we'll just kind of sit back here and give you some money to make us more. So I don't know if that's going to change things, because I believe Ubisoft also said they're going to try and launch like 10 Assassin's Creed games in the next 5 years.
Thinks that's probably not realistic.
Well, with their track record and the fact that some of them are going to be mobile games and other iOS things like that, maybe, because they have cracked out like 3 in a year. And they've been big budget ones. That's the thing with the 19,000 employees. I think Naughty Dog has like 500 and they've made 3 games at once. It's kind of nuts when you think about just how many people make, or just how little people it takes to make a big budget game. Like, I always thought it took like 20,000 people to make a video game, and then I learned that some of my favorite video games are made with like 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of frightening how much comes out of that small of a group of people. All right. Anyways, so we have some info on Onimusha, The Way of the Sword. It'll supposedly take 20 hours to complete, release it in 2026. Flash and parries confirmed. Difficulty options have not been decided on yet. It's not open world. The story progresses as you clear stages. Interact with nearby objects during combat to advantage. So pick up a tatami mat, use it as cover. Katana will be your main weapon the entire game, but there's a variety of attack methods. Aim is not to make it extremely difficult, but they still want to offer a challenge. Kyoto will be the main setting location, may change, possibly location may change, possibly Europe. It's the first Onimusha game in about 20 years. It'll be a while before next information is released, so until then, I hope you will use the elements we have provided so far to expand your imagination. We are working hard to deliver within 2026, so I'd be happy if you could wait for the remastered version of Onimusha 2 to be released in May 2025. Tony, you're looking forward to Onimusha, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not like hugely into the series, but I will say that I'll definitely check it out.
Oh, I
So.
definitely.
Seems interesting to me.
All right. Gotta get this up here. There is a company, I believe it's Nightshade Studios, which is basically Night Dice Studios.
Night Dive.
Night Dive, sorry.
Yeah, Night Dive.
I
Yeah.
can't type. Was basically throwing their hat in the ring saying, give us something we want to start remastering Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games.
Hell
Which, for
yeah.
people that don't know, most of those games that were made for those systems are trapped in those consoles because backwards compatibility was not the main thing there. This is the company that
That's right.
did remakes of The Thing, the Turok trilogy, System Shock, Forsaken, Doom 64, Quake 2, Shadow Man, Blade Runner, Rise of the Triad, and Star Wars Dark Forces. So they've got a pedigree behind them for re-releasing and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, they've actually made quite a few remasters, remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that me and Kyoto,
And they do good work.
yeah, they do. What would be one of the main ones you'd want redone if they did?
Oh, geez, out of 360 era?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder, like, what would the parameters be in terms of that? Like, are you, like, I don't know, Crimson Skies? I was throwing out there.
I don't know. Honestly, one thing I'd want remakes or remasters of those War 4 and Battle for Cybertron games.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah,
Those
they
games
should
were
have.
sick. And then they should make a third one that was not a dumb movie tie-in.
Yep. Mercenaries?
Mercenary,
Good choice, Umbreon.
Black.
Was, oh god, I just watched a video on this Dark Watch. Was that, like, ever remastered?
I don't know.
That
That's
would
a
be a
very-
good one.
That's a very good question.
That would be within their wheelhouse, too, in terms of, like, it being an FPS and everything.
Yeah. One I'd want, but it would never happen, would be Drakengard 3. For people that don't know what
Yeah.
that game is, it is by the same guy that makes Nier, Yoko
Nier.
Taro.
Mhm.
It is a shit post of a video game. And
Yeah,
like
yeah, it is.
you start out, I don't remember if you get the ship first or you get the ship after, but like the first, you have to kill these group of things called intoners, and they all have numbers, and like they betrayed you, and like you have to come back, and it's a big war you're trying to clear throughout all of them. It's a very Japanese game where, depending on like 5 options, you can either end the game as a triumphant warrior, or all your side characters can turn into pigeons. That's not a joke. That is one of the endings. But like the first boss you fight, like they all have like a schmuck that follows them as like a secondary fighter, and then you also have like rideable dragons to fight with. After you finish this, like, and it's kind of assumed that there's a somewhat sexual relationship with like your schmuck side fighter thing for some of them. So one of them goes nuts on the very first person after you kill him, and he comes in to go and finish her off. And he starts going ham on her after a while. Like, it gets really vicious. And then the screen cuts to like rainbows and butterflies, and it says, "This is too violent for your screen, so we have censored it with blank and blank." And then then he starts swearing up a storm, so then it just goes, and it says, "This language has become too violent for blank and blank, so we've..."
Good lord.
And then like the transport out of that area, you get on this like flying ship that you're only in for like 2 scenes. And in this flying ship, there's like a back door that you could go into. That it's like, you have to find a key for that. There's unlimited treasures beyond your wildest dreams in there. And then you never find a key for it because in the very next scene, that ship crashes, it's destroyed, you never see it again. It's fucking awesome. The game is fantastic. But yeah, it's Ultimate Alliance. I could see that happening just straight up from the company, because didn't whatever company made Ultimate Alliance 3, I could see honestly just redoing that.
Yeah.
But
Could see that.
Could see that. I just want some of those games to get out of the trapped freaking area that they're in there.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Okay, so I think me and Keone are the only ones here that played Last of Us 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so there was an interview with Neil Druckmann recently that he talked about The Last of Us Part 2's one thing that a lot of people hate about it was the structure.
Yeah.
In the ass end, anywhere where you played all the stuff as Ellie and all the stuff as then Abby. I didn't hate it as much. I thought a switch around wouldn't have been bad, but he said The Last of Us 2's controversial game structure was actually influenced by the gameplay. Neil Druckmann says that the upgrade trees were difficult for characters and would have been disruptive, with perspectives kept changing back and forth at a faster rate. They said from playing it perspective-wise and made it more intuitive to do it that way.
Mhm.
Which from that standpoint, I get it. And he
Yeah.
also said that the TV show is going to allow them to not need to do that, because you don't have
Yeah.
skill trees. So
Obviously.
that'll be interesting. All our base are belong to us. What was...
I have no idea.
I do not know.
Anyway, we're rifling through this because it's a lot of game information I just thought was great that I wanted to like get through here. Okay. All right. We also got more information on Ghost of Yote. Atsu, which this is going to be funny for anyone who's played even a little bit of Ghosts of Assassin's Creed Shadows, because Naue and her stories are really similar. Atsu is seeking revenge for the death of her family after her homestead was destroyed. Newsflash: the beginning of Naue's next scene is Nobunaga destroying her homestead and a group of assassins killing her dad. Her mom was already dead, so that's about the only difference. The new weapon types are dual katanas, the Odachi, and a Kasurigama. It's set in 1603, 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima. Massive sight lines with sprawling grasslands and icy tundras. The vegetation sways believably in the wind.
No shit.
New mechanics and gameplay improvements. Ooh boy. The land surrounded Mount Yote is outside of the rule of Japan, a wild frontier filled with unexpected dangers. It basically sounds like it's a bunch of rogue samurais. It makes that sound like really fucking exciting.
Yeah.
Still aiming release in 2025, which there's something where there was some stat where when a certain thing happened with Ghost of Tsushima, it was released like 4 years later, or 4 months later. And that kind of thing just supposedly recently happened with Ghost of Yote. But anyway, it was built only for PS5. It's optimized for the enhanced visuals of the Pro. What was the other that? And she completes odd jobs and other things to fund her quest for vengeance. But yeah, I'm quite excited about that, because I think it's going to be basically a more focused version of Shadows, which I'm not upset about, because it's an Ubisoft game. They don't know how to make tight-knit games.
No,
but,
they don't.
Like, I felt like I was watching playing an Akira Kurosawa film when I was playing Ghost. So it's just a different beast, which again, nothing against Shadows. Both are fun. Like I said, I have 40 hours into Ghost, or into Shadows, but yeah, they'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Certainly will.
Shuhei Yoshida says that Nier Automata was the game that revived Japanese games industry after it struggled chasing overseas trends in the PS3 era. I think Yoko Taro made it without thinking whether or not it would sell overseas. However, it was a huge success overseas. And there it became clear that Japanese creators were making Japanese things, and those things were selling overseas, and everyone realized that with Nier. It wasn't just a matter of saying,
Yep.
it's okay to do it like that, but we have to do it like that. So the direction of Japanese creators became, let's stop imitating overseas countries anymore. If we create things of our own culture that we understand, they will understand it overseas. I think that Japanese game industry was revived with Nier, so much so that I would say it was before Nier and after Nier. To put simply, I think Nier Automata was the title that made people realize, let's make something Japanese.
It's almost like if you make something authentic, people will come and actually play it and buy
What
it
a novel
and be
Exactly.
interested in it.
Yeah,
It's almost like that.
yeah.
Like, that's the reason why we have, like, a lot of fighting games coming back, too, and stuff, in the Marvel vs. Capcom collection and the Capcom, fighting game collection, too. I mean, it's just like, bring this stuff back because that's what the industry needs. If you're going to start trying to sell things, I mean, this is really what they should be selling. Ninja Gaiden, stuff like that, don't chase all the same trends that it's all too homogenous now, and that's the problem.
It's
So it's nice to see that they're actually making strides in that regard.
oh, absolutely. And it's that
Yeah.
like I don't get shit like Rise of the Ronin or
Yeah.
like you said, Ninja Gaiden or
Yep.
freaking Phantom Blade Zero or any of this like hardcore Japanese and Chinese stuff without being like,
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, an American company would not have made Stellar Blade.
Oh, hell no.
So
No.
I'm very happy with that. All right.
Speaking of Japanese game companies, this was actually kind of cool and unexpected.
Oh, with this, yeah. The virtual game card announced from Nintendo. Purchase a digital game and load it into a digital game card. It's able to load a digital game card onto a second system, can load up to 2 systems, can lend out games to Switch family group members via local wireless, added a via system update in April.
So basically, for me, this is how they're gonna deal forwards compatibility. But the unique thing to me is the game lending thing, and it's for like 2 weeks, and then it automatically goes back, which I thought it was interesting.
It always reminds me, and I know it's not the same thing, but it reminds me of the biggest dunk on Xbox that ever happened during a game presentation, where freaking Don Matrick tried his best to thank Microsoft, and oh boy, was he almost successful because they're still trying to swim back up. Where they were like, we have automatic DRM in all our games and no sharing and blah blah blah, and then PlayStation, the next it's like, here's how you share a game on PlayStation. He just shows a guy handing a game to another person.
Yep.
But the other thing that's interesting about this update too is, from what I recall from the direct, is that basically it'll make a digital copy of a physical game card that you already own. So then you won't lose your game, and it's basically, I figured, Nintendo's way of kind of game preservation, but they have a little bit more control over it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an awesome idea that is very basic.
Which is why it's kind of low-key genius.
Yeah, it's one of those ideas where someone in a boardroom just kind of went, does anyone have any ideas? What if we put stuff on a thing and let a friend borrow it? Would they keep it? No, it would like go away after like 2 weeks. What would you do? Put it on a card and give it. Oh, that would cost us basically nothing. Yeah. And then you could have someone try it. Let's do that. How long have you been keeping that a secret, Ted? A while. Don't ask me why there's a guy named Ted in the main Nintendo office.
I mean, it could be Tadashi. I don't know.
Tadashi. So one of their main people's name is Doug Bowser, so yes, a Ted could work there. But that's awesome. I really like that they're doing that. It's cool. I think it's an awesome idea. All right, speaking of another awesome idea, PlayStation is just giving dead IPs over to Nintendo so that someone makes something with them. I had no idea this one existed. I had never heard of Patapon.
Oh, Patapon? Never heard of Patapon?
No, I never have.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
That's a pun.
Yeah, I never have.
Sound that they
But
make in the game.
yeah, it's like such because it's a Japanese pun, right?
I don't know. I literally never heard of it before I heard this article. But it's this and Everybody's Golf that they kind of just went, hey, Nintendo, do you want something we don't do stuff with anymore? Here. And it's not even really them doing it. It's the people that published them in the first place for PlayStation are now publishing them are being allowed to publish them on Switch.
So I
That's
guess PlayStation's exclusivity window expired, so
That's what it
they
sounds
just-
like.
Or I
That's a pun is so
Think
like
so?
it's been a long
Maybe.
time since anybody
Yeah,
even
yeah,
thought of those games.
I don't know. Like I said, I've never
But
heard
it's like such a Nintendo thing that I looked at it, I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
tracks.
fits in
yeah,
very
both
well
of these
with
are very
Switch.
Nintendo games. Like
Yeah.
Everybody's Golf players look like me's.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of which, like every
That was
queer
basically-
person on my timeline at the end of the direct went off when when that trailer for the sequel and that one account that says no, yeah, what was it? It's Tamagotchi Earth's Life, right? With the me
Yeah,
characters.
Tomodachi
Oh
Life,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, like that one account saying there's been no sequel in 1,000 days, and then on Thursday he was like, "Guess what? I am free now."
Oh God.
The Everybody's Golf series, I think, was a sort of spiritual successor to Hot Shots Golf. Which
Yeah,
is
pretty much.
the PlayStation thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just
Yeah.
got someone to do whatever, and then they're like, Nintendo, here. Because you'll
Yeah.
notice it says PlayStation 5, Nintendo, Steam.
Yep.
And that's it. So it's very much of the, we're not giving our things to anyone else, but we'll take them. All right. So, Netflix president of games, Elaine Toscan? When it comes to console, we started to look at the future where the platform is agnostic. Look at the younger generation. Are 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds streaming of owning a PlayStation 6? No, the ones that play them are. I don't know a 6-year-old that has a PlayStation.
I think their parents would be.
Sure.
But it's like, I don't think this guy understands what age of people play what video games.
Yeah.
From this statement. I'm not sure. They are wanting to interact with any digital screen whatsoever, wherever, even in a car. I'm like, thank you for them going from, I don't know what age plays a PlayStation, but I know it's not the one that you stick an iPad in front of, so therefore my statement's correct.
Yep.
With consoles, you're thinking about high definition, you're thinking about a controller. We look at this as, at this older model, we think it will restrain us. Or maybe being Netflix gaming is what's restraining you?
Yeah, how
Maybe.
about that?
Like, I have a question. Netflix gamings, have they ever made a game that wasn't like an app game? Because the only thing I ever remember is they did like a weird 8-bit, like Stranger Things game to Revive Season 2. I'm sure there's others that I'm just not thinking of, but
Yeah, it's yeah, it's a something. But all right. So we've got Netflix does games. Yeah, I know, the same thing. I've known of Netflix games, but that's the first one that I've realized that they've
I
actually
get
made.
constant ads whenever I go to
Really?
a Netflix site on my computer for gaming stuff.
Yeah,
That's
there's
all
like
I
a whole
get.
bar of like
Huge
of
fucking
those like
ads
Netflix
for
games.
I suppose I can't remember
Netflix
the
games,
last time
and
I've
I'm
been
just
on
like,
their
I have
actual
no
site.
interest in playing any of these Netflix.
No. Oh, speaking of things that I don't have interest in, we have some scabbing going on with Genshin Impact. So, and this is becoming a whole thing that I'm not. It's become a lot more stupid as it goes along. So, Genshin Impact's English voice cast is giving the VO a cold shoulder after he frames replacing a striking actor as an opportunity to carry the flame. Genshin Impact community is a little on fire at the moment. That's due to SAG-AFTRA, an American union of actors across the entertainment medium, including naturally video games, and its ongoing strike, specifically at video games. Said strike has been proceeding apace for over 8 months now, with voice actors still embroiled in a fight over deals for protection against AI exploitation. Being a game with voice actors in it, Genshin Impact has been well impacted. The good news for Genshin Impact players who don't care about such protections.
Oh my god!
I love the shade in this write-up.
Yeah, and Miho mine is that one of the game's characters, Kinich, maybe, will be having voice acting again. The bad news for everyone else is that a Japanese-based voice actor has swept in and accepted the role without acknowledging the ongoing strike. Excuse me. I'm honored to join the English cast of Genshin Impact as the voice of Kinich, writes Jacob Takanashi. Taking up the mantle of Malempo is a privilege, and I am grateful for the opportunity to carry the flame from the previous flame bearer, John, who did an incredible job. These are big shoes to fill, and I promise to give my all out of respect for him, for Hyoverse, and for you, the fans. I'm deeply grateful for the privilege to entertain all of you.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, acting like he didn't know, and like pretty much every voice actor like freaking grilling him because he had asked apparently in like a tweet before about like joining SAG-AFTRA, so that like he didn't know. And also, if you look up a quick Google search of his history and some of the people he's associated with,
Big yikes.
yeah, kinda, but. I'm so glad I never got into any of their games because, God, what a big garbage company.
Yeah. To be blunt, Takanashi has written this as though John Patanoid, who has been voicing the character for half a decade, stepped down for a role due to illness or tragic accident or something, which is ignorant of the reality of the situation. I was on strike, as explained on a post on the Actors X account. I'm going to say it wrong again. Has been withholding voice over services due to SAG-AFTRA interactive strike because Hoyo Cognosphere wouldn't offer AI protections in the form of a SAG interim agreement, which they have full-on multiple agreements. If you want to know a good thing about it, go look up Ashley Birch's video. She went into great detail about it. They kept my character's dialogue silent for months, all the while I had made the difficult decision to continue not going in until an interim agreement was signed, and that's ultimately why I was recast. Now, obviously, a recast is not what I wanted. I'd hoped that any progress behind the scenes would be made and I could come back safely, or that if I was recast, auditions went out to my colleagues who wouldn't read for them. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I will note that he's based in Tokyo and is not such a part of an American union like SAG-AFTRA. This is not his post anymore. He is, however, joining the English-speaking cast alongside many American castmates who consider themselves peers of the actor he's replacing. It's also relevant that name I'm not saying correctly doesn't appear to be in the patent note. Thank you. In the union, although he is striking in he's not even in the union, but he's striking in solidarity with them, which isn't uncommon. Takahashi isn't crossing picket lines by technical definitions. He is coming from the outside and replacing someone who is withholding their work in protest. In other words, he's a strike breaker, sometimes called a scab. And apparently there has been some words being tossed around. It's insane how it's, oh boy. Oh boy. I didn't read some of these. Valerie Rodriguez, a source of Syracuse, has responded with a trio of thumbs down emojis that have also been voicing their frustrations responses too. For context, there's a non-zero amount of fans who replied to Takanashi's expression of support for him and hoping other striking actors will be replaced in short order, with some believing that the English cast is acting elitist or cliquey for critiquing a Japanese voice actor who isn't technically bound by union rules, just etiquette. Some are also just frustrated that the characters in their gacha game are unvoiced. Rodriguez is having none of it. It's insane how entitled the gacha fan base is. Holy shit. Keeping this character hostages from us and hurting our experiences? What? We are fighting for workers' rights is what the strike's all about. If this was the 1940s and we were striking, it'd be based or some shit. I'm grateful that the projects I'm still working on offer humane protections and livable wages and fan bases that aren't insane and appreciate real integral voices. Also, I know this isn't all gotcha fans, but the replies from some of my fellows are horrendous. Yeah, it's entitled gotcha people that think that their pretty ladies need to have voices are apparently not happy that people are risking their livelihood.
And you should see the Reddit because they're oh, okay, like the whole thing they were pro strike because they were like, oh, it's the recording studio's fault for not signing the interim agreement, and that's like not how it works. And Hoyoverse couldn't possibly do anything wrong, so
No.
therefore it's the voice actors.
No, and I'm going to put this into perspective here. My dream job is to be a voice actor, and we're going to go through some stats here quick. For anyone who's concerned that SAG-AFTRA has a monopoly on all voice actors that can make a living off of VO alone in the United States, here's some NAVA survey results. Approximately 80% of VO work over the last 3 years is non-union. I'm going to let everyone know that I, on my taxes last year, made around, I'm not bragging, this is just for stating for how stupid these stats get, around $55,000 in a year. I worked a shit ton of overtime, and I got a promotion recently. Approximately 58% of VAs make less than $25,000 a year.
Jesus.
And keep in mind, most of those people make most of that money by going to cons doing autograph sessions.
Yep.
Not from their actual jobs.
Yeah.
And most of these people live in LA, where you're lucky if you can fart in the wind and catch it and eat it for $25,000 a year. So anyone who thinks that they're entitled and these big wig rich people, no. To quote Kyle A. Bear, someone asked him, what are you going to do when, I believe it was John Cena who got in a voice acting role. He's like, what are you going to do when people like that get into the voice acting industry? He goes, wait until they quit when they see how much it pays.
Yep.
True.
But anyways, so now we're on to the movie news. Apparently, some John Wick stuff happened, like a lot.
Yeah, so today was the Lionsgate panel at Cinemacon, and as we're recording, the Warner Brothers panel is happening. Last night was Sony, and we kind of talked about a little bit of stuff from there.
The John, which I swear to God, we talked about something like this on a podcast recently. I could be wrong, but I swear to God we did. It is a John Wick prequel anime film about the impossible task that he had to do. And I believe it's directed by the Kubo and the Two Strings guy, which, if any of you saw what that guy can do directing animation, holy shit.
Seriously, go watch Ultraman Rising. It is incredible. And this is the guy they've handed a John Wick animated movie.
Yes.
I am pumped.
Yes. He will have Keanu Reeves coming back for it. And yeah, it's whatever he'd had to do to free himself from the high table. That's going to be interesting. The Donnie Yen movie is going forward. He's starring and directing in it. So that's awesome. John Wick 5 is now happening. If it's not him shooting his way out of hell, I don't want it.
Same. I have been screaming for that ever since the end of John Wick 4.
Like, what are we? They showed him dead.
But what if he wasn't?
No, please don't do the thing.
God, don't do that. We both looked really sad at your grave. Sequel time.
There's two things I don't want to happen. One is that he fakes his death again, and two, that they take the coward's way out and set this movie like before the events of Chapter 4.
Here's the thing. If they say he faked his death, it would be the most pointless thing on the planet. Because at the end of 5, right, or at the end of 4, right before he dies, he's free. He has no entanglements. The high table's off his ass. He is legitimately free to do whatever the fuck he wants with no engagements, no one after him. Why would he need to fake his death?
Exactly.
that would make literally no sense story-wise. None whatsoever. Winston's still alive, so he can help out at the Continental and recover there, and then just go back to living his life because he's got all the money in the world still from his jobs. Kane could help him do whatever because he helped him get his revenge for all the stupid shit he was doing. Anyway, and the daughter of shoot. Oh no, I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Oh, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, his daughter's character's mad at Kane and not John, so she wouldn't be coming after John. You wouldn't need to fake his death. It's so stupid. All right. So I know I'm probably not the only person that's had to deal with this. Who all here has had friends that have literally no media literacy and gone up to you and gone, have you seen the trailer for blank and blank that just dropped? It's totally real and not reused AI edited footage. And then when they show you it and you go, that's a scene from Endgame. No, it's not. He's got a different shirt on.
Oh, you know what the thing? It's like so adorable if it wasn't like, you know, horrific and, you know, a hellscape. Reminds me so much of all the fan trailers, like
or the fake Facebook posters that we see like from like a decade ago.
yeah.
Yes.
Or even better, I just such like incredible 2007 vibes.
Exactly. And it's like, this used to be an art form where they made fake trailers for the fun of it. Now people are making them and doing whatever.
So butt fucking ugly too. Like literally, I haven't seen one that looks good.
No. Ever since they didn't monetize them, they started looking bad. But now, I guess YouTube is starting to demonetize all of this horse shit, which YouTube demonetizing something for a good reason is strange. Take it from the guy that got one of his videos taken down for having UFC music during I believe it was a Hoyoverse ad. Yeah, YouTube's not great with some of those things sometimes and doesn't give a shit. But anyways, yeah, it's something. All right. We are like 3 days away from the
From peak.
From peak. I'm quite fucking excited. And they did the most peak thing on the planet. He said he wanted to make this feel like the mid 2000s. This is the most mid 2000s way to announce his soundtrack fucking ever. So we have the old CDs with the marker, the old SanDisk here.
This is the
I love it.
I love this shit so much. So we have Afterlife by Evanescence, Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine, Last Resort, when this Power Gloves across all these. I'll explain who Power Glove is in a second. Last Resort by Papa Roach. The weirdest one ever, because this is a story in chronological order about Dante. Devil Trigger is a song specifically about Nero, who is Virgil's kid, that is like 25 years after the events of when this show happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super interested in why the fuck that's there. Butterfly by Crazy Town.
Sure, okay.
No idea.
Oh,
but I
no.
can't fucking wait for when that song comes on.
New metal fans are eating good.
Redacted by Green Day, which if that's a new song by Green Day for this, wow.
Yeah.
But Bury the Light, which we heard a little bit of in a release snippet that they had, and then Ghost by Gunship, which we saw Power Glove here a couple of times. I had to look them up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Power Glove is...
They're the band that did the music for Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a synthwave band with like early.
Yeah, they're
80s,
like metal synthwave. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
They're really cool, and they're very influenced by gaming stuff, gaming culture and stuff. Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. I'm like, that's gonna be sick. I'm gonna binge the living shit out of it.
I mean, of course they are. They call themselves Power Glove, for fuck's sake.
It's awesome. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, and do something that I had to put in here simply just to get Mike's reactions. A remake of the a remake of the TV anime Yu Yu Hakusho has been announced. It is in the planning stages and production will take some time. The producer has been chosen and Periot will handle the animation. Who did the animation for the last one?
Periot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poirot, I guess technically is how
Or
it's
Poirot,
pronounced. Sure. Yeah. The original 90s anime was directed by Noriyuki Abe, who would later direct Bleach. So I'm
Did the
kind
original
of
finish?
technically no. I don't think it ever had. You're talking about Yu Yu Hakusho, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they ever did like the manga ending. So, which is weird, even though the
I didn't
manga
know
was
that.
finished.
Okay.
Yeah, they like stopped like a chapter or two short. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I distinctly
Really?
remember that being a thing. And I think the next core of Bleach the 1,000-Year Blood War is going to be the last.
I believe
So
so.
I'm wondering if most of the people over at Poirot Films, which is their new satellite studio that they moved season 3 of Bleach to, I wonder if they're gonna move on to Yu Yu, which they totally should because it like historically those shows have like a lot of similarities. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You know what this makes me? This is getting my. I've screamed for this for years, and now that Fire Force is ending this year, this makes me want them to get a lot more shows that haven't been finished or didn't get finished properly. I really hope that at the end of Fire Force, that David Production goes, after JoJo's, we are redoing Soul Eater.
Oh, I would.
I
I
would
would
love
kill for that.
David's Soul Eater, but I'm just curious, does Bones still have the right to Soul Eater?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's something they need to figure out first.
But if they did or whatever, I don't know how long that lasts. When the fuck was Soul Eater done?
I
I
think
think 2008?
So damn near
2008 or
20
2009.
years? How long can those rights last?
Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho, the 90s anime, that was like 94?
Yeah.
And Poirot still has the rights?
Well, still has the rights, or they just picked them back up to do this. Because I don't know if they would ever announce that, hey, we don't have them anymore. I honestly don't know. But that Soul Eater is one of those ones that if Yu Yu Hakusho works, Soul Eater would fucking work. And
Oh, yeah.
the beginning half of that, beginning 3/4 of that anime, they change a shit ton. The difference is they don't change a shit ton that matters. Like, Black Star is, what's that character's name? The zombie. Sid is his adopted kid in the manga. That is never brought up whatsoever in the anime. In the anime, Maka gets a black suit of armor that is like shown as a dress from the Black Blood. That never happens in the anime, and it's fine. The anime was just good until she decided to punch the Kishin with courage.
Oh, those anime only endings.
It's like, that was when I got into that binge period. I just finished A Comic a Kill. It was fucking phenomenal. That, another one that needs to get redone. With just to include some stuff, not all of it. Dear God, the entire Wild Hunt arc can just be boom. But when Soul Eater came out, I'm watching it and people are like, yeah, man, wasn't happy with it. And I'm watching through all of this. I'm like, this is some of the most beautifully animated shit I've seen in my life. I am dying laughing every other episode. Black Star's voice makes me want to shove a screwdriver in my ears. But besides that, it's fantastic. And then when we finally got to the point of that fucking final fight, and like they're just like, and then they had the balls to go, and here's an end credit scene showing the 17 plot threads we're not gonna finish. They just pan around to all the characters that they didn't resolve plot threads for. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
This is why we need to get a Soul Eater remake at least started in 2028.
I'm telling you right now, they do that, and Hot Topics stocks are going to skyrocket.
I hate how true that statement
I still
is.
have my
I'm so right.
I still have my Death the Kid shirt.
I bought it. I hate the ending of this, but I still bought the Blu-ray because the first 80% of this is literally a 10 out of 10. If you act like that ending didn't happen, that is one of the most beautifully adapted animes of all time. But, ugh. Anyways. All right. So, Tom Hardy says that a Spider-Man and Venom crossover film got close but never happened, and is because of studio politics. You don't say. Remember when at the end, when Venom was in Marvel and then Sony went at the other end and went, oh wait, that scene at the bar, Venom actually stayed over here and we stopped him.
Yeah.
Venom was in the MCU for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm 90% positive that was a Feige decision because he's like, we don't want that over here.
Or at least not right now.
Yeah, because they want to do their own thing with Venom because they've got Secret Wars coming.
Secret Wars, yeah.
Hey, Mike, what happens in Secret Wars originally?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. He's like, it would have been fun, but it just means so much fun. He's like, it was very nice. He was like, it could have happened, but it's whatever. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because yeah, with with Secret Wars and all that fun stuff. All right, and the topic we talked about last podcast is now as an update. Coyote vs. Acme has officially been saved by Ketchup Entertainment, who bought the film for $50 million.
They did the thing. Yay.
They planned a worldwide theoretical release for 2026. Someone go get that Wile E. Coyote cosplayer who was protesting. Bring our boy home.
What a trooper, that guy.
He fought in the trenches.
In the California heat in that costume, no chance are you catching me out there. I'm shocked that guy didn't die of heat stroke.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Get that man a Congressional Medal of Honor. All right, so Princess Mononoke's IMAX re-release has grossed $1.2 million in its first day. It played on only 330 screens, and it will outgross the entire OG domestic run this week.
Give me a minute. I'm going to look up its actual total for the weekend. Okay, 3.8 million.
Jeez.
That's not bad for a limited release.
Yeah.
Only 330 screens? That's really good.
Which I'm hoping, since GKIS has a rate, that means possibly the 4K version is coming very, very soon.
That would be awesome. All right. Speaking of Princess Mononoke, OpenAI CEO has claimed that the Ghibli image trend is melting ChatGPT's processors, forcing them to impose image generation restrictions. Oh, boo fuckity hoo.
And here's the world's smallest violin.
You know what? This is the only time I will say that image generation is okay. Just do it. Make it burn harder.
Yeah, like if we're gonna fry them, do it. It's fine. Man, that was like another like bring up Aswell again is like, man, them talented artists and those megabytes are really working hard. Oh wait, it's melting the computer because the computer can't handle reprocessing already done artwork. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Oh, this was a thing that I knew I should have got these in order because I forgot where it was in the docket. Before YouTube started demonetizing the trailers, Warner Brothers, Sony, and Paramount started taking monetization from fake AI YouTube trailers.
Oh, so basically they're saying like, look, if you're gonna steal our shit, we want to be paid for it.
Yeah, that happened like 3 days before YouTube went no. Which is honestly how it works for a lot of things. Like this YouTube channel started out with me making AMVs for Ruby, and it was just like, hey, we're putting ads on your shit and we're making money off it. Cool, does my video stay up? Yes. Cool. make your money. I can support the show somehow. Okay. No one's watching my shit except for that one video I have that does exceedingly well. The house cares. All right. So the Russo brothers have revealed, see if this sticks, revealed that many heroes will. Yes.
I was. Can I read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Russo brothers have revealed that many of the heroes will die, and there will be snap of the fingers to resurrect them.
What
I'm
was
sorry.
what was really funny is I was reading through this stuff with my buddy at work. He's like, "Yeah, that's because they're gonna bring him back as variants." God damn it! Like, I hate how honest that statement was.
Yeah, well, it's true because I'm like, they expect it to be this epic, but we actually know the reality. No one ever stays dead in comics, kids.
Here's the thing that I actually see happening here with this not being because let's be real here, they did it in one of the stupidest ways timing wise in Infinity War. Half the people that got dusted had movies coming out.
Yeah, they all had
Yeah.
sequels or stuff coming.
Yep.
And somehow magically all the main Avengers were left, except for Natasha. Oh no, Natasha
Oh,
was
yeah,
there.
we
She was in
can't-
Endgame, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we can't have Natasha, can't have her come back.
no. Which she said she's not, which that's gonna be a pop-off moment in one of the two movies, because she just is. But here's the thing. I do actually partially believe them in this, and how I partially believe them in this is
Yeah.
I will actually see if a person actually dies, their contract ran out.
Yep.
Like, that's a, hey, this is your last bit. Or it's going to be the people that are like, we'll go through the titles, like a lot of the legacy people that are just showing up to be in this movie. Which,
so like characters from like the Fox X-Men series,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
absolutely.
by
Yes.
by the way, you guys all did you all watch the stream last week
The
with
5-hour stream? No. What the actual fuck? I thought that was a joke.
no
Oh,
My favorite thing
God.
is that the next day they make it into a minute 48 long YouTube
Yes,
video.
exactly.
even the next day like
Like
an
hours
hour.
later.
Like it was so like anyone who watched that whole stream, like I'm sorry, that's like some of the saddest shit on the fucking planet. Like
I watched it
Go ahead.
just through like Christian Harloff's stream because he just had all the cameos going on for all the the Collider people and everything, and that was actually hilarious.
That was one of the things where I'm scrolling through my TikTok just for shits and giggles, and I'm watching people live streaming the reactions. I'm like, what commentary are you giving on this? It's 5 hours long.
I mean, that's the thing that was funny about it though, was the fact that like you had somebody like Harloff who has all the different connections and everything, right? And he's all calling everybody and just telling them like, hey, I gotta go record something. Could you come over and cover for me for this portion of the stream? And they're like, yeah, I can clear my schedule, sure, yeah. It was
Yeah.
funny. And then he called up Campia, and Campia's like, what the fuck is this?
I love Campia.
I know.
It is
The
seriously
reaction
one of
was genius.
it was probably the best and also the dumbest way to announce the cast because
So dumb.
the thing is like people were complaining about it, but everyone was watching.
Yes,
Even if it was just like for like 5 seconds scrolling
It's
through
probably
Twitter.
only-
I swear
half
to
the
Christ, I'm like the only person who probably did it because I was like, oh wait, there's a stream. Oh, cool, neat. Because I forget what I was doing. I was probably like making some shit, but I'm like,
I thought there was going to be something at the end.
Well,
you know,
We're
yeah,
gonna
my
talk
biggest
about that,
fear
yeah.
is I can't even imagine what the react content on YouTube is for that because it's not even reacting to like a show or like a trailer.
No.
Like it's
It's
literally nothing.
Literally chairs.
it's reacting to chairs. And not
Like-
even names on chairs.
Yeah, like I'm just imagining like the quick zoom in, and this is because I had to react. OMG, guys! Holy shit! Whoa, yo!
So, like, I will say part of it was cool because they were trying to have you figure out what the next name was going to be based on the music for the characters. So like that little bit was cool, but the motherfucker didn't have to be 5 hours long.
No.
Yeah, like 90
12
minutes
minutes
would have
in
been
between
Yeah.
fucking names? Like, no, that was
They
insane.
could have shortened it to maybe like 2 minutes in between shares.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so we'll go through here. Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Anthony Mackie, Paul Rudd, Letitia Wright, Simu Liu, Danny Ramirez, and Winston Duke. And this was my personal favorite. I was like, I wonder who's not dying in Thunderbolts. Sebastian Stan, Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen, Lewis Pullman, the character who at this time is simply known as Bob, are also getting shares. The cast revealed the old X-Men characters, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, the one that legitimately shocked me. Isn't he 90-something?
I don't think. How old is Ian?
He's 85.
85. I thought he was 90. But James Marston, Rebecca Romaine, Alan Cumming, I'm so fucking excited for that.
That's the one that surprised me the most because
Yeah, because he swore like he was never coming back.
Yeah, that was a surprise. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. And Kelsey Grammer. Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Evan Moss, Mark Rag, and Joseph Quinn. Oh boy, I'm going to say this wrong. Chinook Kircha Majier, the guy who played Namor. And here's the thing. I have an honest to God question. Also, they've openly said this is not all the names. People bitched instantly saying that wasn't enough people. Shut the fuck up, first of all.
That's a lot of people.
Second of all, you knew that wasn't going to be all of them. They're going to pull another one of these fuckers when the trailer comes out. But second,
Comic-Con.
honest to God here, because I saw someone bring this up. Out of the two situations, what do you think would have been a better first situation to reveal that Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie? The reveal at Comic-Con or the reveal of him walking out to be in the last chair?
Comic-Con.
Yeah, I still say Comic-Con.
It is Comic-Con, but when you're going through that long list of names and they're expecting something big, the reveal of it walking out like that, I thought was a really nice touch.
It would have been nice if the Comic-Con reveal never happened.
That's what I'm meaning.
But the fact that they already revealed that he's playing Doom would have been like, wait, the reaction would then be, wait, Tony's coming back?
Well, that's why you would say Tony and then him like reveal a patch of something and it says Doom underneath it.
Okay.
It would have been something like that. Or it would have been the chair that says Dr. Doom and you see him walking out and sit in it. Exactly.
You know.
That's what it would have been, something like that. And they're like, fucking what?
Oh. I forgot to say this in my intro, but it's like relevant. I watched unreleased Fantastic Four, and honestly,
Corman?
for what and honestly for what it was, like I didn't hate it. Like it felt like a fan film. Like
it was very low budget, but yeah, I didn't hate it either.
Yeah, no, I'm like it's definitely not the worst Fantastic Four movie by a Academy mile.
No, actually, no.
But here's like the most insane thing is that's cinematically still the most comic accurate version of Doom. And that's probably the closest that we will ever get. And that's kind of horrific.
I wouldn't say it's not the closest we'll ever get. I just don't think people are going to accept the version that's the closest that we get after RDJ, because it won't be RDJ.
Yeah, it won't be him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But it's like the only Doom that like actually had the accent or was like a ruler, which because me and my friend were watching this, and we were like,
area.
we were like, wait, this is actually kind of close to the comics. I mean, once you ignore that, like the actual Fantastic Four stuff doesn't happen until literally halfway through the movie, it's a decent watch.
Are we gonna hear you take that on Le Crap?
Yes, it's already recorded.
I gotcha.
I thought that was the weird image I saw pop up because you have the record thing, so the snippets from it show up in the little thing in the library.
Oh yeah, because I called it Fantastic Four Wonderwall.
Oh God.
Oh God.
And I was pissed because I found because I was going to use that as a segue, but then Wonderwall came out in 1995, and I was like, shit. But I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It's too
That's
good.
okay. Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
man, the effects though, the stretchy effects in that.
Honestly, the stretchy effects, I didn't hate. Like they're kind of endearing. Like
They
you know,
are, but it's
you know, as
just
soon as
so
like
bad.
Windows Movie Maker transitions were interesting, but
Nothing will be better than the transition of God. I wish what scene it. I knew it was. There's a scene where in Fan Four Stick where someone said it's like there's no way you could tell what the reshoots were and what they weren't like. And one of them she has blonde wig and the other she has blonde hair. She's like can't tell. There's a scene where they're in the lab and where she's either talking to Johnny or Reed, and Sue cuts from having the blonde actual hair, cuts to Reed, cuts back to Sue. She has the blonde wig on, cuts back to Reed, cuts back to Sue, and she has the blonde hair.
you know what the crazy thing is? It would have been like more expensive, and I'm not sure if it would have saved the movie. But like, if they'd made this movie probably now, they probably would have done like a CG hair replacement.
Well, they would have, just did the movie differently, or they would have, made a movie
You know, made a
Without
movie
the
that was
express-
watchable.
without the express purpose of keeping rights, because that's the only reason they made the movie.
You know what the thing is? Like, admittedly I've never watched like the whole thing through, but like the beginning, when it's like the horror part is great,
Great.
and then the rest of the movie isn't it like that from what I've seen. I was like, you know what? I've seen enough. This will be my memory of this movie. Goodbye.
Oh, what you didn't like when the Thing got its clobbering time from his brother being an abusive dickhead?
Oh
No.
God.
I
What the hell
can't wait
was
for
that?
July.
Yeah, he got its clobbering time because that's
Jeez.
what his brother used to say before he beat the shit out of him. Yeah.
No, first of all, other than the horrific implications, that's so fucking lame. I'm gonna
Yeah.
beat you. It's clobbering time. Like you're fucking 5.
Yes, exactly. Like, God. But all right. Okay, so Spider-Man 4 will reportedly take place during the events of Avengers Doomsday. Due to this, Tom Holland will reportedly not appear in Avengers Doomsday.
Okay.
I have some thoughts about this.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised about it because, especially after No Way Home, like how many of the Avengers, like, even though, like, I know Spider-Man's still kind of doing his thing, so it's kind of hard to see, like, where he would kind of fit into this.
He's definitely going to have more of a presence in Secret Wars because, of course,
Wait, are you telling me something happens in Secret Wars with Spider-Man?
but I think the other reason why he may not show up in Doomsday is a little bit more obvious. Tom Holland is busy, obviously filming Spider-Man 4, but also he's doing Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, so that's going to keep him busy for a while.
It's almost like the guy's got a career.
And Zendaya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that too.
they're both going to be busy with other
So being Zendaya's bodyguard.
other things.
I think Zendaya would be Tom Holland's bodyguard.
Yeah, that.
Honestly.
I would be more scared of Zendaya than I would be of Tom, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think just looking at Zendaya, I could see her being that girl that would beat the fuck out of you if you looked at Tom Cross. I'm just gonna be really honest.
Exactly.
All right. You know the meme of he asked for extra pickles? Like I could see that. All right. So Marvel has reportedly hired a new director for Blade. Supposedly, Chad Stahelski will be attached to the film. It has not been canceled just because it's not happening.
How
For the
many
love of
directors is this
God.
now?
I don't know.
What is so hard about this movie? It's fucking Blade. It's just, vampire, make blood, sword, cool.
Because they need to figure out how to have vampires in the movies because they don't have them yet.
I mean, you could just say they're vampires. I mean, like, why does this have to be like a prelude? Just they're vampires. Like, that's it.
They are
Trying to
Some
ice skate
motherfuckers
up.
are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah.
I like to quote Blade. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I am seriously wondering, like, what if really they were just waiting for Deadpool and Wolverine to be a success because they wanted to prove that Marvel can do R-rated movies?
I don't think they would have said, we're making an R-rated or whatever, we're making a Blade movie, but we're going to exchange 16 directors, 5 writers, and this. But then we're going to wait for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, something is going wrong when it's taken 5 years to get this movie off the ground.
Yeah,
To be fair,
Yep.
also, I'm not saying this is a legitimate excuse, but this is the very first time where they've had an actor call them and go, I want to be Blade, make a movie for Blade. That's the only time this has happened.
That's true.
Everyone else has been casted. He's the one that called them after winning an Oscar.
So really, they never really had a plan. They're just kind of scrambling because how dare you not give a 2-time Academy Award winner Blade?
And they also have these two things. Again, not making excuses. I'm just being honest about how almost every hardcore MCU fan is. They want, let's just make a movie that doesn't have to do with anything because we want to be able to do. Okay, cool. Then it doesn't connect to anything and they get super fucking rambunctious and pissed off because why'd you make this movie if he's not connected to MCU and he doesn't have blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah in it. And then it goes, oh, well, cool. We're going to make it connected to the MCU. And then they don't like the movie and their excuse is going to be, well, what the fuck? Why didn't you just make a single movie and not have it be connected to blah, 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 blah? Or they could just be confused on how to make it because no one's ever fucking happy.
It's that scene from Courage the Cowardly Dog with the young Muriel and the macaroni and cheese.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. To be fair, they were also been struggling on making a fucking Avengers movie. You remember what Destin Daniel Cretton was supposed to be doing originally?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone likes to forget the amount of shit that Avengers went through when magically RDJ's cast in it. Then magically, that film didn't have a shit ton of problems.
Yeah.
And we didn't rewrite the entire thing based off of stuff.
Yep.
Actually, you want to know when the Kang Dynasty movies started to fall apart? This was even before Jonathan Majors.
Decided to be a fucking idiot.
It was after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania started to underperform. Then Marvel was like, I'm losing faith in this writer. Let's do some reworking.
Mm-hmm. But no, nothing ever changed. It's going to be the best movie ever because the Russos are back and RDJ's in it, and only on those facts alone, it's going to be great. But we'll forget all the shit for that because it has him in it. I can tell you right goddamn now, if they announced that Wesley Snipes is going to guest star as a variant of Blade in the Blade movie, they would forget all of those problems happened and it would be back to square one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how stupid this is. The bad
Bring
stuff
back
only
sticky
matters.
fingers.
I can't believe we got him in Deadpool. And they didn't even acknowledge that he was Blade. And he went,
Yeah, I
Blade
can't-
mention there's only one
There's
Blade.
only one blade.
When the other Blade was in the film on screen
I
first.
know, it's pretty freaking great.
That was fucking hilarious.
That was-
Eyeballs
Stupid.
directly down the camera. Oh, God. Okay. All right, so we've got some wrestling stuff for once. Rob Van Dam says the more AEW says stuff like the Spike spot with Mox and Cope, the more he'd rather be associated with WWE than AEW. That's
don't
not
blame him.
wrestling to me. Obviously, it's sacrificing a lot for the business. I mean, that could be said about it. But the more AEW does stuff like that, for me personally, I feel like I'd rather be associated with WWE than AEW. A couple of years ago, I was like, man, they're growing. They're trying things up there. And then there's the feel that the inmates are running the prison. Do either of you two know what the spike spot is?
I don't.
Imagine a
I-
bat, a 2x4,
Yeah.
with legitimate nails,
Yeah, legitimate.
like
They were
this
like
big,
6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch nails, spikes.
probably about that thick,
Yeah.
and like
Jesus.
20 of them on a 2x4. And a guy got suplexed directly onto it, and it stuck into
It's
his back.
stuck in them.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
Where
didn't
that-
see it live, but
No.
I saw the it's
Where that could have been fucked up to the point of him, like,
Yeah.
screwing up his spine, because it was
Yes.
in
Yeah,
there.
the nails are like too
it was
much. 'Cause
embedded.
I mean, the
Yeah.
stuff of like years ago, the thumbtacks was enough, but still, they were like these thumbtacks. Like the idea of like that you're gonna die from a bunch of thumbtacks in your back, probably.
No, it's gonna suck pulling them out.
It'll just suck. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like even like the crazy shit like last night with the Jimmy and like Gunther is stuff. Like you
Yeah.
can tell, like
Out of its control.
because I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure like how much. I'm sure like yes, most of it, that they had like practiced for a while. But even like yes, Gunther, you could like tell he was being like so careful with the zip ties.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
there's freakouts where like it's a famous Chris Jericho story where apparently that man has no fucking fear. Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton were having a match, and Randy and Brock had an understanding that Brock was going to break him open hard way. And what that means is you're going to bust someone open legitimately and not using a blade. So he's elbowing Randy in the fucking head and like hardcore and busting him open good. And y'all know Brock Lesnar looks like he would eat most humans. Is in the back, and Chris Jericho goes up and gets in his fucking face, ready to fight him, because he did not know that was a part of the plan, and that was unsafe to him. And Randy had to come to Brock Lesnar's defense. Say what you want about what the shitty's been going on, but Queen of the Ring doesn't have Brock Lesnar busting open Randy Orton in it, so that's not a part of the conversation, sir. I don't have the movie by me.
Or a spike bat.
Yeah, or a spike bat. They wouldn't have stupid shit like that in Queen of the Ring.
Good
I used to like
Lord.
John
that
Moxley.
Was... Huh?
I
Yeah,
used-
I know. I don't know what to think of what they're doing with him and what he's doing.
He blades over everything now.
Yeah, I know.
Like falling over the top rope.
It's weird.
It's very
It's so weird.
yeah.
It's
like-
it's like obsessive self-harm.
It is. And then like you get accidents. For those that don't know, there was a match between JBL and Eddie Guerrero where they
Mhm.
were having what's called, it's like a bull rope match or something.
Yeah, bull rope. Yeah.
Where they have to like touch all the corners and there's a big fucking
Yes.
bull bell in the middle. And JBL cracked Eddie over the top of the head with it, and he went to blade in the corner, but he cut too deep and he hit a fucking artery,
Oh shit.
and blood was just spraying out of it. And like Eddie was barely able to. Anybody wants to, I'm not suggesting you need to look it up, but if you just look up Eddie JBL blade job, it's bad. Live television, Eddie's losing buckets of
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Whoa. But the reason why I brought that up, for those that don't know, used to be a little promotion called ECW,
Yeah. ECW. Yeah.
Extreme
With RVD.
Championship Wrestling, that RVD was a part of.
Yeah. Rob
They
Van Dam.
did very extreme things.
He did do indeed. Yeah. So he knows what he's talking about here. You know
So
what I
now
mean?
that guy is going, I'd rather be associated with a company not doing those things.
Yeah, because Moxley could have fucked himself up really badly with that spot. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, quite frankly. And then it's just they're pulling it out when he's, like in the ring. I think they even showed some shots of it of them pulling out the spike bat
Struggling to
out
get
of
it
his back, and they're like having a hard time.
yeah.
And like
That's a
flesh
restructure
is
part of the
coming
match.
off of him. It's
Like if you were gonna do something like that, like I would have had like a stunt bat and just have like bursters like
Yes.
underneath.
That's normally what they do.
That's
for
normally
something
what they
like
do.
that.
They gimmick things like that so that it won't really hurt the guy or won't like embed itself into the guy's spine or whatever and separate his freaking. I don't even. It's just too much, you know. They're constantly trying to one up everything, and it's just ridiculous. I feel.
I know it's like crazy how it's like dumb, and my friend pointed it out to me. I didn't realize that the cons were those just cons. Were like I was just oblivious. I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Owner of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's what's the soccer
Yeah.
team? Manchester? No,
Um,
they own one of the Premier League soccer teams too. Opposite of Tom Cruise. Yeah, there's
I don't know why my brain didn't like correlate it because me being like a super like football nerd. But then I was like,
yeah.
yep,
Wait.
it's those cons.
I was like, wait, as in that Tony Khan?
Yep.
Yeah, because they played at Daly's place. That's attached to, I believe it's
Mhm.
attached to Jacksonville.
It is in
during
Jacksonville.
COVID,
Yeah, it's actually it's right attached to the main
Yeah.
football stadium there.
because
believe.
Florida was one of those places that just didn't have laws during COVID, so that's why all the wrestling
Uh-huh.
happened down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I. All right. So this is a person who a lot of people watching this might not know, but it meant a lot to a lot of people that grew up in the '90s because this is the first version of this character
Oh,
I
absolutely.
ever saw. Clive Reville, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
known for
Clive Reville.
voice acting Alfred Pennyworth in Batman the Animated Series, and as Emperor. And I did not know this one.
I
As
didn't know this one either.
Emperor Palpatine in the original cut of Star Wars Episode 5,
Yes,
The Empire
yeah.
Strikes Back, passed away at 94.
Yeah, the original cut. So like
That's
before they did the
insane.
special editions and everything. Yeah, that was Clive Reville's his voice, not his face though,
No,
but
that's
his voice.
nuts. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a fucking career. You're fucking
Yeah.
Alfred and Arsidious. Good lord. Yeah, it's he was just so good. I
Oh, he's great.
every time I hear
So great.
someone say the term draw bath in movies, I always think of the stupid scene where Alfred holds up a paper with
Oh,
a
yeah.
bath on it.
True. It's great.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's just one of those, like, that's not a guy who's going to get recognized. Like, even Star Wars fans wouldn't make a big deal out of that. So I at least wanted to say rest in peace on here because, again, being a child of divorce in the early 90s, that show got me through a lot of shit. I wiped your bottom, I bloody well up.
I'm going through his Wikipedia page right now, and yeah, he's actually done a lot of
Quite
different
prolific.
voices.
Yeah.
He was Dr. Galileo Seaworthy in Snorks. He was a bunch of voices in the new Scooby and Scrappy Doo show.
Nice.
He also did some voices for Paddington Bear in the late 80s, early 90s.
Nice. Probably retired pretty early.
Probably.
Because, God, if he's 94 now, he would have been fucking, what, in his 60s when he was doing Alfred?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. He probably retired not long after doing Batman the Animated Series. Or, I suppose he did more, he just didn't do as much, because I can't imagine he needed to do a whole lot.
And just to be clear, he wasn't the main voice of Alfred. He only voiced him in like the first couple episodes. The
Really?
voice you're probably used to is
Yeah, it's Ephraim Zimbalist.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
That's
Clive
right.
Reville he was the first Alfred voice for a couple of episodes, like you said, Mike.
Either way, it was cool that he was a part of something special like that, and sucked. Anyway, does anyone else have anything they would like to talk?
you guys want to talk a little bit about the Warner Brothers panel?
Yeah, if you got some.
I pulled up something from the Hollywood Reporter. This is Rachel Brosnahan talking about a journalist who helped her inspire her portrayal of Lois Lane, saying she was always bored of being a child. Why would you play on the playground when you could get your ears pierced and smoke cigarettes? And she said that this journalist was also an adrenaline junkie. And if you know Lois in the Christopher Reeve movies or any adaptation of Superman, like you know they got the character right when you're constantly screaming at the television, Lois, what are you doing?
That's that.
That was pretty much me watching my adventures with Superman.
Yeah. She's a strong-willed woman, damn it. She knows what she wants to do.
I've got some more Superman stuff too. So one of the scenes that they showed at the Cinemacon presentation was an extended scene of Krypto rescuing Superman from the um whatever like
Situation.
whatever situation he was in. So you got to see that, and like you got to see a lot of the Fortress of Solitude.
Nice.
And okay, here's Brosnahan talking about Superman. These stories endure because there's something in them for everyone. And there's one more thing I want to find. Oh, when James Gunn is teasing what to expect in Superman, he gives us the following: pocket universes, sorcery, flying dogs, and Max Fleischer cartoons. So I guess that's the vibe that we're expecting for the movie.
Wow, that's interesting.
Sorcery.
Fleischer cartoons.
That makes me think of Circe. I doubt she'd be in that movie, but
So tonally, it's going to be a very interesting thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was kind of like what
Oh yeah, that's cool, Umbria.
what I
Okay.
was when I described to people. People say whatever they want about it, but that second Bay produced TMNT movie was the most Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the Turtles have ever been in live action. Like they were fully aware of what was going on. You had Krang out in the open. You had all this shit going on.
You had Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, they were fully like, no, this is what happens in the cartoons and all this shit. We're not acting like it's stupid. We're going to have it on screen. That kind of sounds like what Gunn is doing with this.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. Because, like, if we're talking about, like, Pocket Universe, we're talking about, like, possibly Candor or, like, little stuff like that. If we're not going to shoo away with, no, this is comics. Stupid things are here. We're going to acknowledge they exist. And if you don't like that, then you're going to be like, well, that never happened. No, it did. You just don't see it. And I'm a nerd, so I'm going to put him in this movie.
When I hear
I'm all
pocket
for it.
universes,
Yeah.
the first thing I think of is the fifth dimension.
Could be.
So I don't know if we'll actually see him in the. Oh, I just realized Alan Tudyk is supposedly in this movie as like an unspecified role. What if he is Mixus Spidlick,
That would be a perfect role for him.
right?
That would be the unbelievably most perfect role for him. He would chew up that role so much. Because I would picture him fully doing the Spider-Man or Superman animated series version of him,
Oh, yes.
where he's literally just a cheeseball the entire time.
It helps that version was voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah. Wow! Oh, good lord. Yeah, with fifth dimensional magic. Yeah. Imagine that, a superhero movie that, or a comic book movie that acts like it's a thing about comic books. Not anything against the MCU, but there's sometimes that are kind of like, yeah, we're not going to sometimes do that all the time.
One thing that does often bother me
Mhm.
about the MCU is, you know, it's not that it's not funny when they do it, but when they overdo the whole giggling to themselves at how stupid everything is, instead of just letting things be stupid.
Yeah.
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 Like,
I would
which-
agree.
the only time that didn't happen in the films was magically in the ones with James Gunn directing.
Yeah, and they're arguably the ones that everyone agrees are the most good.
Yeah. That and the other ones that didn't have that going on in them, the cat films. But yeah, no, that'll can't come fast enough. Umbreon, that is something that we were going to disagree on until the end of time. I just don't think you like 2 jokes in that film because it's the only thing you'll ever bring up. I'm gonna be really honest with you.
Yeah, it's true. Those are the two. I swear, to Harloff's credit, he has softened up on the movie, but for the longest time, I just got sick of him saying like, "Oh, Guardians 2 is the worst. Too many jokes, too many jokes." But then, like the entire back half of that movie is
Yeah, because we had the levity to say, "Oh, by the way, Peter, I gave your mom cancer."
Yeah. That was one of the most emotional, gut-wrenching films that the MCU has produced, but everyone likes to forget about that chunk of the movie. Which they forget about in most films that Gunn does. They'll be like, yeah, well, the action and the shit and that. I'm like, or the part where you're missing about him being Yondu's adoptive kid that he doesn't realize was his actual parent and the sacrifices and all that. Are like, oh, yeah, I guess that really cool stuff did happen in that movie.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
But
like I
like that's a perfect example. That joke is fantastic. But everyone forgets about the genuinely amazingly heartfelt line that precedes it.
Yep.
Where they go, you look like Mary Poppins. And he goes, was he cool? Looking up at Yondu, his father figure, the coolest motherfucker in the world to him right now, he goes, you're damn right he was. Everyone forgets that part. They'll like, which nothing against you, I'm not saying it's bad you brought it up, but they'll be like, haha, funny joke. And then forget the 90% of heartfelt moments that are in those fucking movies.
Like I can't listen to Father and Son by Cat Stevens without shedding a tear, because the first thing that comes to my mind is the stuff at the end of the movie.
And Umbreon, you and me feel the exact same way, where the 20% of Gunnisms is overdone by the 80% of the other stuff. That's for people, like, Umbreon, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Everyone who does not like some of his jokes will go, that was 90% of that entire film. Hey, when's the last time you watched it? Oh, I only watched it once. Cool. I watch it probably once every 3 months. There's not that many jokes in it, actually, that are ripping on it as much as say they are. And then they'll go, oh,
Yeah,
well, I'm not
yeah,
going to watch it again, so.
Yeah, I remember Guardians too, because my first reaction was it was more emotional because I laughed a lot less. People really say that there's like a lot of jokes. Did we watch the same movie?
No. No. Everyone, like, people, and again, has nothing against you. Your opinion's your opinion. It's whatever. People like to think that because James Gunn's movies have jokes in them, that they're automatically Thor Love and Thunder. Which that is an actual movie that had way too many fucking jokes in it. That overshadowed some genuinely emotional shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone in more positive note, I do have one last bit of news to close this out. And I want your opinions on it.
Oh, boy.
No, this is actually a good thing. Like, I hate the source of this from because I hate Cartoon Brew and make you go fuck yourself. But
I don't think I've heard of them.
there's a new California bill that is proposing a 35% subsidy for animated feature series and shorts. The passage of this bill could encourage more animation production in the state. And then I'm just gonna forward the article in the private chat if you want to pull that up a little bit. Okay, why is that? Oh, it's because I don't actually have it linked. Ha, I'm dumb. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, there we go. Da-da-da-da. Okay, and there we go. Ah, there.
All right.
Oh
All right.
boy, this is
Ooh,
this
boy.
is definitely going to turn things around.
A new proposal is a
If it-
35% subsidy in series. The legislature introduced a bill with 35% tax credit. Series and shorts in California with a minimum production budget of $1 million. Most previous TV and film
Which is
credits.
literally everything.
I was just about to say that's every single one. The inclusion of animation in the new bill comes as an opportune time as the state's new bill not only increases the credit from the current 20 to 25%, but it also expands the cap on the credit program from 330 to 750 million annually.
That is a big deal.
Holy fuck.
Wow.
I mean, if that goes through,
Well,
which I
yeah,
hope
but
for the sake
still.
of LA, I hope it does.
Same.
Yeah. In recent years, the animation production has increasingly shifted away from the United States, both Walt Disney and DreamWorks no longer making their animated features exclusively in California, leaving Pixar as the sole animation studio that does end-to-end feature production in the Golden State. Rare exceptions of animations that productions haven't done in California for decades, except for front end pre-production and back end post, which most actually the production being done in Canada, Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Many overseas countries provide generous subsidies, sorry, for the animation production, as do states like Georgia. Everything's cheaper there because they want people to freaking work it. Where somewhere animation has been shifted. It's unlikely the bill will significantly change how Hollywood currently produces the animation, but it could potentially encourage more projects to be greenlit and help the animation's current standstill. The bill, which is currently being debated in California Congress, is expected to pass, but the state's 2025-2026 budget is still being negotiated, and it remains to be seen whether or not the $750 million cap will be approved. Overall film production in Los Angeles was down 30% in 2024 over a 5-year. Yeah, that would be freaking insane if they're able to. Government passing it.
Like even if it doesn't get to 750, if it goes up to like 650 or 600, that's still an improvement.
If they could double it, that would be insane. Yeah, that would be nuts. But no, that's cool. I want more things to be done in animation. You can do more cool shit in animation for cheaper. You don't have to hire a shit ton of high name actors.
I just want my friends to be employed.
Same. That's I want my friends to be employed, and I just want the industry to be an industry again.
Healthy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alrighty then. Let's get on out of here. Mike, where can everybody?
You guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us here on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we.
Free.
I'm available to work anytime. I don't know. I chose this like that. I'm tired. Anyway, you can find me at crazylemur.bsky.social, on Instagram at lemurs1. I'm gradually uploading the puppet content. So, yeah, hope my brain works again soon.
Fiona.
You can find me on Twitter at Neoplasmic24, also on Instagram and Threads at Neoplasmic81, and on Blue Sky and Twitch at Neoplasmic.
Find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. If you're into cons and conventions as such, my Instagram, Organoid Zero, is where all my cosplay and convention going is posted. If you're going to Midwest Gaming Classic, it's advertised as the biggest gaming event in all of the United States. I doubt that. But It's going to be a fun time. I'm going to get to meet most of the cast of Devil May Cry, except for Johnny Young Bosch, because that would make my life too simple. But yeah, if you're going to be there, I'll be for sure cosplaying as Virgil. But I might switch specifically and bring my Nero cosplay as well, because Nico's voice actress would be there, and getting a picture of her like in actually dressed as Nero would be a ton of fun. But yeah, so you find me there. And the other thing, if you're into other podcasts involving me, you can go over to the Athletic Geek 89 podcast, where me and my buddy Eli talk about one specific topic and talk about it for an hour. The last one we did was our favorite wrestling video games, so that was a ton of fun. And I think we're going to be doing WrestleMania predictions, if I'm not mistaken, for our next one, so that will be a blast. All right, until next time, we will see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.